The Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Rockets 104-98. This was a tough loss, I would say, for the Rockets because the standings are really close in the Western Conference race. Granted, they're still the number 2 seed, but every loss gives them a slimmer margin of error to operate from when it comes to how many games they can afford to lose. They still have somewhat a small cushion against the Lakers from catching them in the standings, but still, I think this loss revealed some weaknesses about this Rockets team. But the Lakers, unfortunately, were able to prevail and win this game, despite not shooting a good percentage. They shot only 39 overall from the field for this game. They shot 34.8 from three. Granted, the Rockets didn't shoot that much better. They shot 41.6 from the field overall and 31 from three. But the Lakers shot slightly better than the Rockets from three, and that's really what I felt won this game for them. If you look at it, both teams had about close to the same amount of turnovers. Granted, the Rockets had a little bit more, so you credit the Lakers defense for that. But as a Lakers hater, this game was very frustrating to watch. Yes, I can be honest about my hatred for the Lakers. I do want them to lose as many games as possible, but this was very frustrating because I felt the Rockets had great defense throughout this game for the most part. Granted, they failed to stop not Vincent Gable. I always mix up this guy's name, Gabe Vincent. They failed to stop Gabe Vincent and Dorian Finney-Smith. Both had 20 points apiece, and they both shot a combined 12 of 24 from three. That to me was the reason why the Lakers were able to win this game for the most part, is those two guys caught fire off the bench. I felt it was a fluky performance by Gabe Vincent in the sense that he shoots terrible percentages for the season, 40 overall from the field, and he's actually shooting 40 overall from the field for the season and 35 from three. So he shot abnormally too high compared to his regular season percentages. And I've seen Gabe Vincent play in the past. He's a very streaky player. Just he'll shoot like shit most of the time, but he'll have that one or two games where he'll explode out of his ass. I saw that a few years ago during the playoffs when he was with Miami. So yeah, they came through, those two guys. I would say they were very big for the Lakers in this game. If you consider that LeBron and Doncic didn't have really good games. LeBron shot 5 of 12 from the field. He had only 16 points. Luka Doncic shot 6 of 16 from the field. He had 20 points, but he shot really poorly from three, 1 of 7. So they didn't really have good games, really. And Austin Reeves was really underperforming in this game, who I've felt for a while is the Lakers' X factor, that if he doesn't have a good game, the Lakers will lose most of the time. And he was well below his scoring average for the season. He's averaging surprisingly 20 points per game this season, 20.1. But in this game, he only had like 12 points. So they were able to shut him down. I think Austin is the guy that can be shut down in a 7-game series. And I still believe in that strategy, even though it failed tonight, that they were able to shut him down because those two other guys went off. But that's the strategy you want to employ against the Lakers. You want to take Austin Reeves out of his game and force Luka and LeBron to score even more, put the scoring pressure heavily on their shoulders. But the one thing I want to go back to the Rockets is that I find very disturbing about the Houston Rockets is that they have no legit go-to guy in the clutch, that there's no guy that can generate easy buckets for them when they need to score in the worst of ways. Granted, I like Şengün. I don't even know how to say his name. Şengün, whatever his name is. So I really like him, but I'm not so sure he's a go-to guy. Like at this point in time in his career, he's still really young. He's still feeling himself, as they would say. He's a really good player, but they really couldn't go to him in the clutch in this game, and and they didn't really have anybody else really stepping up under pressure in the final 5 minutes of the game. I felt that's when they really lost this game. Dylan Brooks was taking a lot of dumb shots in this game towards the end, and he couldn't hit any. Dylan Brooks should never be a guy to be a closer in the fourth quarter. That's not who he is. But in this game, he was forced to be that because they don't have a legit closer. And that's like the biggest disturbing thing about the Rockets, I would say. I like Amin Thompson. I think this kid is going to be a star player within a few years, but his offensive game is really raw. Granted, he shot a great percentage tonight, but in general, he's a very raw offensive player. Just he's really streaky, and his offense isn't fully developed yet, I would say. Just even though he shoots high percentages overall from the field, but he's just very raw. He doesn't have a 3-point shot, so I think that makes him a liability in these situations. Granted, he did have that one good Euro two-step move in the fourth quarter late in the game to get a quick layup. The Rockets just don't have a go-to guy, and I think that will be used against them in the playoffs in intense situations when they really need a bucket in a tight game, because you will be in tight games during the playoffs. The question is, like, who is going to be willing to step up for the Rockets in that situation? Right now, there's no clear-cut guy, and that's the biggest weakness of the Houston Rockets. It's kind of like they have a committee of guys who step up at random times, but no clear-cut guy who's the man on their team. And that's what really bothers me about them. I hope they don't face the Lakers at least in the first round. I think it's highly unlikely, because what I saw tonight disturbed me in another way too, because I saw a team that was like a deer in the headlights in the final 4 or 5 minutes of this game against LeBron. I've seen this so many times before. A young team, they freeze up against LeBron. They can't come through when it matters. And I felt that was the Rockets tonight. I don't know what it is with some young teams when they face LeBron, but it's like suddenly they just melt under pressure situations against him. I wish I could really put my finger on what it is mentally or psychologically that causes this, but the Rockets might have like LeBron syndrome, LeBron deer in the headlights syndrome when I watch them play. I don't know what's the solution for that, but that really bothered me. Granted, they will play the Lakers again in another week or two, so I like to see the adjustments they make, but yeah, this really sucked. And I have to say that there's a lot of question marks about this Houston Rockets team. This is a team potentially that could be upset in round one if they run into a wrong matchup. That's one thing, if I'm a Rockets fan, I would be concerned about. But I don't have anything else to say.